Hello everyone, BurgerBrush here and welcome to my video where I will go over my 3.19 Lake of Kalandra builds and league starting build as well. It comes to no surprise to many people in my community that I will be league starting with the Death's Oath Occultist. Death's Oath is one of my favorite builds in the game as it is extremely nice, easy and fun to play. You walk around and everything on your screen just explodes and you just pick up the pieces, all the good loot, and it's a very comfortable build to play. So I will be league starting with this build and I do have a full written guide on the forum for anyone who's interested in either playing or league starting with this build as well. I'll just go over the path of buildings really quickly here to show you kind of what I got going. I'll be doing poisonous concoction with some, whatever leveling gear, doesn't really matter. I'll just pick up anything that I get along my way because it is league start, as you know. But I will be doing poisonous concoction until I get to Act 9 or 10, where I will scrape up enough money to buy the Death's Oath and start transitioning into playing Death's Oath, and then later on get a bow for a single target with Caustic Arrow. I will probably play Death's Oath for quite a bit in this league until I have gathered up enough currency to make another build, and this is basically the endgame path of building for the Death's Oath. I'll be getting some cluster jewels, I'll be getting inspired learning as always, the glorious vanity for the divine flesh and transcendent mind and all that stuff. I'll be getting quite a bit of investment into this character because I do believe investing this much is actually worth it, because you can really hard, fast and easy speed run tier 16 maps and any content that you wish to do except for bosses and endgame bosses. But that doesn't really matter to me. I can make a lot of currency by playing this build and by mapping and doing other forms of content instead. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be playing Death's Oath for league starting. I'm going to be investing quite a bit into it, and I'm going to be making that time worth because I'll be farming so fast and efficiently with this build in the end, as I've done in the previous two leagues before that. Now, I've been tinkering around with some builds that I don't really know if they're actually going to be good at all or if they're complete memes or whatever. This is not something that I would suggest that anyone actually play whatsoever. This is me just having fun in path of building and trying to come up with something weird and something new, or something that I just haven't played myself. So I've come up with three different builds here: a Fire and Ice Golemancer, a Spectral Helix Assassin, and a Wanderer Raider. Now, I know the Spectral Helix Assassin is quite popular in the past and people have played that, but I've never really seen it or played, so I'm gonna do my own spin on it and see how I enjoy that. But let's start with the Fire and Ice Golemancer. The Fire and Ice Golemancer is something that I've wanted to play for quite a long time. I'm really a fan of Golemancers in Path of Exile, even though I have a reputation to hate minion builds. There's just something about Golemancers, they're just fun and wonky when they run around, and I think they look cool as hell, so I just wanted to do something like that. So we're focusing all on the golems with minion nodes here and there and all kinds of stuff. As you can see here in the skill tree, you got some cluster jewels as well for some damage and some other stuff that I've been figuring out. And we're playing the Elementalist because we're playing Golemancer, so we play Leech of the Primordial Elemencer. I want Bastion of Elements for the defensiveness, and then Mastermind of Discord to use, what is it now again? To use... Ooh, where did it go? Wave of Conviction, for low resistances on the enemy, so my Fire and Ice Golems can do more damage. And it's going to be interesting to see how this build plays out. Now, it can be absolutely garbage, or it can be decent, maybe. I've heard that, having Fire and Ice Golems can be quite nice for mapping at least. So we're going to see how decently this build can map when I actually do decide to make it. It's probably going to be my second build of the league. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how it is, a lot of Primordial Harmony Cobble Jewels, but I'm not sure what the price of those will be. I'll just have to see. Then I'll also be rocking the new and improved Clay Shaper, and yeah, we'll see where this lands. But hopefully it can be a nice mapping build and maybe even tackle a little bit of endgame bosses as well. Now, my next build that I have is a Wanderer Raider, and this is an actual meme. I have been playing some Wanderer builds in the past. I used to play like a Pathfinder Wanderer build that was a complete mapper. It had insane movement speed and insane clear speed. It could do map bosses, but it couldn't really do any of the endgame bosses, but wasn't really that much investment anyway, and I just played it for fun because I think Wanderers are really cool with Kinetic Bolt and Kinetic Blast and Power Siphon, yeah, all that stuff, right? But this is a complete meme. I'm going Raider here with Frenzy Charges and Avatar of the Veil and Quartz Infusion and everything. And the reason why I came up with this meme was because I wanted to see what happens if you invest absolutely no life into a character. Yeah, sure, I have some life on the gear and I have a couple of life nodes in the skill tree, but I have 3k life. I just said, screw all the life nodes, I'll just go pure damage and pure evasion, and I'll even play acrobatics again and just get spell suppression to the point where I get full spell dodge chance again, like in the olden golden days, you know, where you could have face acrobatics and be really tanky through like full evasion and spell dodge. So I'm going all balls to the walls, baby, all damage and all evasion and basically no life nodes whatsoever. The investment isn't really that much. It's some generic rare gear here and there, like yeah, the armor is quite expensive, but that's basically it. Everything else is just shit because I'm not sure how much I want to invest into this build, but I'll have to see how it feels like when I actually do play it. And last but not least, we have the Spectral Helix Assassin. Now, as I said earlier, I've seen some people play this in the past, but I haven't really watched the footage too much and I've never played it in my past. I've never even played Spectral Helix, and I hear everyone hyping it up so much, saying that Spectral Helix is a great skill for a lot of different uses and it's fantastic to league start with. I will not be league starting with this build though. Might do it in the future if I feel like this is a fun build to play and it actually works out pretty well. But yeah, so this is basically how the skill tree looks like. I've been tinkering with this for a while to figure out what I feel looks satisfying to me in terms of damage and defensiveness. I really wanted to play the Trickster Ascendancy, but I figured out that nothing really syncs up with what I want this character to do with the Trickster Ascendancy, sadly, so I had to jump out of that and go back to the good old Assassin for this, you know, because we're playing Perfect Agony Poison Spectral Helix, so we have Perfect Agony, and Noxious Strike and Toxic Delivery just works so fantastic with that. Yeah, sure, I wanted to do some Trickster stuff, but yeah, this just wasn't the right build for that specific thing. Wasp Nest, some generic rare gear, the Covenant, you know, we're keeping this a little bit on the low end. Some people are saying that this might be absolutely busted and hoping that GG isn't going to nerf it before league start, because this robe right here might be an absolute beast in this patch or in this league right now because of how much potential damage that it can add. As you can see here, it says that I have about 6 million DPS with the current gear and the character that I have here, but if I remove this armor, I basically lose so much damage. It's insane. I legit lose more than half my damage by removing this robe. So this Spider Silk robe here is absolutely insane for this kind of a build. So yeah, it's going to be really fun and interesting to see how this character plays out. He has a good amount of life, he has decent defenses, he has big damage, and it's gonna be pretty good for both clearing and bossing, I would assume. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this character plays out. And yeah, every single path to building will be available in the description of this video. And thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you have a fantastic league start, and thank you very much for just hanging out in my channel, everyone that does that as well. Really appreciate you guys, and yeah, have a fantastic night or day.